guys, welcome to our review for DC Universe's Titans. The long-awaited review, right? All right.
We've been excited for it, right?
Mm-hmm. Super excited. Right, Alex?
Super excited.
Okay.
This is as excited as I get.
All right. So we're going to give it a fair shake. Obviously, we made a ton of fun at this series' expense, and rightfully so, because the trailers were awful, using awful stock effects, using really crappy sound effects that you could get for $2 off of the audio store, and yeah, it didn't come together very well, and it looks like it was going in the wrong direction, this sort of dark, morose DC Universe type of direction. So we watched. I subbed to the DC Universe app. Actually, there's a 7-day free trial, so I signed up with that. It's $7.99. This service is going to be $7.99 a month, okay? And available right now is episode 1 of the Teen Titans series. I'll tell you right away, after watching episode 1, we really need to watch the 3 episodes, because this thing went by with, there's really not a whole lot here. I mean, we're going to do the review now, but maybe in the future, our television series should be like the first 3 episodes. What do you guys think?
Probably. It's pretty long still, though. 50 minutes.
50 minutes.
Yeah, 40, 50, something like that. But what I'm saying is, in order to get the flavor of a whole season of a show, to see whether a show grabs you or not, sometimes a first episode is not sufficient. One of the main ones that I use is True Detective. Like, it didn't get interesting until you watch 3 episodes.
Sure, but I mean, the first one is good enough to let me know if I would just ignore it.
Right.
And so, I mean...
Okay. Well, guys, let us know in the comments what you think is the better format. Because obviously, if it's the first 3 episodes, sometimes it has to be delayed, at least in the instance where they're releasing them 1 episode at a time per week. And that's what we have here. Of course. Why? Why don't they release them all at once?
Because people pirate stuff.
Yes. Or you could just watch the whole series during the 7-day free trial, cancel right after.
Yeah.
So that's their way to keep you subscribed over the next few weeks and months in order to get your $7.99.
But once your little trial ends, I'll start mine, and then I'll cancel mine, and he'll do it.
All right, we got 3 weeks.
And we got Dell.
We got Dell.
And then Erica. And we can do this.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Job done.
So maybe that's a little bit of hint of what our opinion is on the service itself. But I am going to first start with the service itself to get that boring stuff out of the way, right? So when I was reviewing the app, I was telling you the movie selection is probably not going to be that great. The comic selection are going to be limited. You're going to get an entire series here and there, but you're also not going to get all the new comics. You're not going to get all that stuff. Netflix for comics, now that is an interesting fucking idea.
Yeah.
Would you do that? If they were all brand new comics.
Yeah, I'd probably do that.
Yeah, but that unfortunately isn't quite what this is. As I look here, of course, you can get pretty much all the Teen Titan comics. But as I go through the list here, there are obvious holes in the DC library. Some of the popular series aren't there. They want you to purchase them physically.
You got to make some money somehow.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's, Action Comics, for example, doesn't have a whole lot. I think there's only like 23 of them. And Action Comics has been going on since 1939. So,
But the best animated series of all time is on there in
Yes.
its entirety.
So, Batman the Animated Series, remastered in HD, both seasons of all 80-something episodes is on there. They have several television shows. Movies, right now there's only 32 total. And that doesn't actually even include a lot of the animated. You would think that, sure, you maybe can't get the rights to, like, Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff like that. What they have here is the Christopher Reeve Superman. They got Supergirl, which is the worst, absolute worst movie. They do have Dark Knight and Batman Begins, but it looks like that's all.
Do you have the Mask of the Phantasm and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero on there?
Yes.
Those are ones really good. I like those ones.
They do have quite a few of the animated ones, but there's some, puzzlingly, some missing ones, like Superman, Batman, that series. I think they had 2 films there. Yeah, so a lot of things are missing right now. And so, in my opinion, a lot of these movies you can watch at other streaming services, and ones that are there are probably things that you already own on DVD that you've already seen multiple times. So that's not really adding a whole lot of additional value right now. So really, and the comics are right? So really what's selling it is going to be the new television series, okay? Teen Titans and some of these other ones that they're promising. Of course, our Young Justice is on here. Justice, Teen Titans. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so going to the actual Titans episodes here. They're about 40 minutes each. It's going to be 9 episodes. No, it's going to be 11 episodes. And you can watch new episodes on Fridays. The next one is Hawk and Dove in 3 days. The first one was titled Titans. And this... Let me see here. In the series premiere, Rachel Roth, a teen haunted by dark visions and powers, falls under the wing of Detective Dick Grayson. We also meet Corey Anders and Beast Boy Gar Logan. What did you guys think? Let's jump right into the first episode. What'd you guys think?
I thought that the person who designed the teaser trailer and like all of the promotional stuff for this should have to clean the bathrooms of Comic-Con with their tongue because they did a horrible job.
Yes.
I mean, this was advertised so poorly. I was ready to tear this thing apart. Like, this is going to be terrible. It looks horrible. I liked it. I actually thought that this was a pretty good series. I don't know if I would spend $8 for the... just for the series.
$8 a month.
But if I wanted to watch Batman the Animated Series plus this, I could see myself paying for it.
Surprising. Yes, I will also say that whoever put together that trailer needs to be fired. I'm sorry. Your talents could be utilized elsewhere. Maybe you can learn how to draw. I don't know. Because it was awful. It really mismarketed the television show. There is still some problems with the series. Obviously, we'll get there. But it's definitely not as bad as we thought. Joe, what do you think?
I really enjoyed it. Robin is my favorite so far. I'm still not sold about the other characters, though.
Yeah, like which character?
Raven.
I don't like her
acting.
Yeah,
right
I don't like her transformation, Joe. The demons part of Raven, her special effect.
That's going to be a big problem throughout the whole series, though, with like Beast Boy and everything, because majority of their stuff is CGI. Yeah. And that is lacking, obviously, but
it looks awful.
It does.
It looks freaking awful.
Beast Boy looked really, really bad. Some of the Raven stuff wasn't. I mean, it's a TV series, right? Like they're not putting Game of Thrones money into each episode, and this isn't. This is like the best thing.
Okay, so you'll give it a little bit of an excuse.
I'm giving it a pass because, like, if you look at the budget, like this isn't sci-fi channel level stuff where you see like velociraptors running around and there's like, this is terrible. It wasn't very good, but it wasn't all that bad. But we only saw 10 seconds of Beast Boy, so maybe if we see the next couple episodes and there's more of him, I'll be like, nope, this series is done.
I had another problem with that. What the hell? You're starting off with the characters. You got to show them off. You can't just show me Beast Boy, one of my favorites, for like 10 seconds. Like, all right, later. Oh, come on.
Well, it is only the first episode. We've got basically one small segment on each of the 4 main characters. Now, how many members are in the Teen Titans, Joe?
5.
And we have 4 here. So
the other one would cost too much.
Yeah.
It's all CGI.
Cyborg is sadly not here. In the second episode, I think we're going to meet Hawk and Dove, who are perhaps a replacement for Cyborg. And then I think there's another one coming, Elastigirl or something like that. We'll have to wait until see these other episodes to see if another member joins the party. But obviously it's not going to be the original team. But I felt that the way they connected the characters was pretty natural. And it appears that Dick Grayson is now a police detective. So I thought that was pretty creative because you can have some side plots there with it's like, oh, is the police going to find out that he's, doubling as a vigilante, who he really is? He's sneaking. It's very intelligent. He knows what's going on because he can listen in on everything and even mess with evidence if he needs to, because this motherfucker goes out on the street and he's basically taking his aggression out on criminals.
Really like that scene.
Yeah. He brutalized those guys.
He was destroying them. I was like, man.
So we hated it in the trailer, Joe, but now all of a sudden you're saying you liked it?
Yeah, I did.
He killed
It's
some
what-
people.
it's
Yeah.
what Alex said.
I don't think
Whoever
Robin.
did the
I
trailer
disagree.
Messed up huge.
Disagree completely. I don't think Robin should kill. I think the line "fuck Batman" was hella forced. It
So
was super strange.
we
It
need
was
to
just-
we need to explain that to them because if you haven't seen that it was not shot in the trailer the way it is in the series. It's like, oh, where's Batman? He doesn't yell "fuck Batman" and
Right.
then beat them up. He takes people out. He paralyzes a guy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He
Oh, he
kills
kills
he kills a couple people.
yeah.
And then at the very
Does
end of
he
the fight,
actually kill people?
oh,
Because
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He stabbed that
Honestly-
guy in the
Oh,
throat
that's
with
right. Okay, see, because I will say this, in my opinion, you guys may disagree. I thought this fight scene was not filmed very well. Now, it wasn't, the worst thing I've ever seen on film, but it's nowhere near the levels of what Marvel is doing in Daredevil.
Well, yeah.
It looked bad to me. I don't think the fight choreography in this show is very good so far.
I thought it was pretty acceptable for TV. It was pretty good and
okay.
very gruesome.
Okay.
yeah, I think
It's not TV technically. It's an
It's
app
TV
and Netflix in the international
caliber.
market. You motherfuckers out there in international are getting this on Netflix. So, some people were saying, well, I don't know if I should say they were using VPNs so that they could watch the goddamn series. I had to go out and buy this damn thing. So thank me, all right? All right, go ahead.
But I did like the fight scene. I think he did a lot of. It showed what they're gonna do with Robin. That it's not gonna be where he punches people and then they just fall asleep and like magically, like Batman does a couple times. Like he punches them, they fall down, and they're expected to stay down. Like he breaks a lot of limbs.
They're staying down.
Yeah, like those guys aren't getting back up.
And I agree. And I agree with that part of it. I'm worried that it's just going to be this, and then we're not going to see additional fight scenes with Robin. It's like, this is what Robin does, and now it's all the emotional
Yeah, it's just
stuff
like the
until
hook
end.
to kind of lure you in.
So I'm worried about that. Is this just a hook, or are we going to see more of that? But okay, so not as poorly done as we thought. So he's a police detective, and how does that tie into Raven?
Basically, Raven has some kind of connection to him. I don't
No.
She dreams about him.
yeah, she
She's been
dreams
dreaming about him.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then
She
Which
didn't
is
dream
kinda
about
weird.
him. She said she was there when his parents died.
the opening scene is her going to bed and then dreaming about
Yeah.
the Flying Graysons, and then she sees him and she keeps seeing them die.
Okay.
And then
So
her
whether it's on the astral plane or whether she was actually there, probably more likely she's dreaming and she feels like she was there.
Yeah.
Because her age probably wouldn't
Yeah, it was like
match up.
she's too young.
Yeah. So eventually they meet each other because she runs from her house. Her mother is murdered by
her mother.
is murdered by a mysterious man with motives that we don't really know. And because she's on the run, she doesn't run straight to the police to tell people that her mother is dead. She just goes to a homeless shelter.
No, she goes to
if
Detroit. She gets on another bus and then goes to Detroit randomly.
and then goes
And
to a
then goes
homeless
to shelter,
shelter
yeah.
without telling the police. Apparently, she cared enough about this mother. She says she loved her, and then she got mad. She got so mad that Demon comes out in her. And what does the Demon do?
He pushes the bad guy to
Push-
the window. That's
Yeah,
it.
pushes him and then runs off.
I think
So
Robin had the demon, not her.
right. So I'm like, what the fuck? They make Robin brutal and they make the Demon a little bitch and running off.
She's 16 and she's never
Yeah,
beat
it's
up
like
bad
pretty-
guys with guns
Okay,
before.
so you're saying she has much greater control. That demon inside of her has much greater control than any other demon, really. Okay.
We don't
Okay.
know.
Anyway, her special effect on that is pretty bad. I'll counter Joe. I liked her. She does look like Raven to me. It's just when that special effect happens, I hate the way that thing looks. It just looks so bad. It looks so cheesy. And I made the comment at one point she is being harassed by some kids on a school bus because she's a freak and this guy wants to, try to have sex with her or whatever, and another guy stands up for her, the quarterback of the school, I guess, stands up for her. But, she looks in the mirror after they call her a slut, and she calls, the demon calls her a slut, through the mirror. And it does a stupid effect, and you can't help but laugh. When I thought it would be better if you just don't see that. You just see her face, and she's calling herself a slut, or you hear the voice in her head, and she's calling herself those things, like it's the Venom kind of style, where does she really know whether there's a demon in her? Does she think she's going crazy? You could have played with that a little bit instead of a terrible special effect. Now, of course, eventually you got to use some special effects, but hopefully they'll be done a lot better than what we've seen so far, is what I'm hoping. And in the series, isn't she? She's got a different look to her, a little pale skin tone.
Yes.
I'm not really sure if she's not at full power level, and then later on she'll look like that. But what do you guys think of Starfire?
I think that I was worried, especially based on what we saw in the trailer and how she looked, and they explained it perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's just
Now it makes sense. Now it looks like it was taken out of context, and people were like, "Oh my God, she looks like a hooker. She looks like a freaking prostitute. How are you going to do this to my favorite character? That is the costume that you came up with her?" And the explanation is she's a prostitute.
yeah.
She's actually a hooker prostitute. But we don't think that that's Starfire's actual character. That she's like just a prostitute and that's it. Right, Joe?
I hope not, but we shall see.
It could be that she just takes over her body, but she was definitely acting as a prostitute. That's why she's dressed like that.
She wakes up in a damaged car with some person dead in the driver's seat and another car rolling up on her shooting. She has no idea what this is all about. All she knows and that she's gathered is these people, whether they're Russian mafia or something, knows that she was originally after this girl. And who's the girl? Raven. So that's how they tie her eventually. So we're going to have a journey of Starfire making her way to finding Raven. Raven has already been linked to Dick Grayson, Robin, who seems to be having pity on her. And they're kind of in similar situations, orphans, just like it is in Teen Titans, and so they have already got a relationship. Beast Boy, though, Joe, go ahead. Tell us why what happened here.
Slap to the face. Basically, he's stealing an Xbox game, and you see him transform from a tiger to a person. Why?
For 10 seconds.
Why?
You really want me to respond to that?
Yeah.
Because he's Beast Boy, Joe.
Of all things,
A
he's
tiger?
stealing an Xbox game. He could have transformed into anything
what
else.
would you want it?
Something stealthy.
Cats move pretty stealthy, right?
He was making so much noise. He's a huge ass tiger.
Oh, yeah, I think it's just one of those dumb TV things where they're just trying to show some kind of impressive animal and transformation.
They're probably going for some kind of comedy effect, but it didn't work.
The CG effect, not very good.
No.
It was an afterthought. Like, we see an entire episode, and they're like, "Oh man, we forgot Beast Boy."
Yes, that's what I felt like.
He's robbing a Best Buy. It's like, oh, okay.
And what did you guys think about how it was filmed? Obviously, the trailer looked very cheap. The sound effects were very cheap. The effects were very cheap. How did you think, though, the direction and the cinematography was in the actual
The effects were cheap, still, but I think it was filmed pretty well. I didn't have a problem with. There was some parts to the direction where all of a sudden an entire room explodes, but there happens to be like this fireproof picture that's lying around.
Yeah.
But it's like necessary for the plot.
It was laminated.
Yeah,
right?
Starfire's in danger at one point of being shot. Somebody shoots her. That triggers her powers because she has amnesia and she realizes she has these powers. Burns the entire room. I don't know, Joe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Starfire not actually blow fire? Isn't her
Don't be
shit like
fooled by the
lasers?
name. It's like green, like
energy.
plasma.
Yeah, or something.
But there's already too much green with Beast Boy, so they had to go something else.
Right. So I guess they were like, "Oh fuck, okay, so we'll just give her fire." So she burns an entire room, and Joe made a comment about.
Yeah. So you see the guy's gun like melted metal,
all
and this
drooping.
guy's clothes is still pretty much intact. I was like, wait.
They
a
blow
minute.
away into ash, but this picture, this indestructible picture.
Pictures, looking good. So now she knows who she's after, and she's gonna go and go after Raven. So they're also doing a little bit of a cop drama. Dick Grayson has a partner, a female partner who is just interested in his possible love interest, interested in his backstory in Gotham and what his other partner was. They use that in order to allude to Batman and Batman being his other partner. And hey, we just had a difference of opinion on how things work out. Exactly what that difference is, we don't know yet. I'm sure that will be explored in future episodes. But we can see right now that just Dick Grayson right now loves violence. He loves to just take it out on criminals.
I dig it.
And Joe's digging it. Joe's a big Nightwing fan.
I am. I will say this. I am actually pretty hooked on it.
Okay.
I'm willing to watch a couple more episodes.
Okay.
And I will say this is already better than Iron Fist, the first season and the first episode.
Whoa! That's
Remember we talked about
massive.
it.
Yeah, we had
This
to.
is already better.
Wow. Okay.
First episode.
And guess what? I'm agreeing. I am really surprised, guys. This was a good start. Not enough there, I think, to go on. Obviously, we want to probably get 3 episodes in or review the whole thing because it could fall on its face later on. But it does do enough that I think it sets it up and makes you interested. Yeah, it's darker, and I'm hoping for a little more comedy as we go along. Yeah, we're missing some key characters in the team, but also it's an excuse to bring in some new characters and make this something slightly different. Since we've done Teen Titans 3 times in a row, maybe 4 times, including the movie, we'll see something.
I just hope they don't add like too much, like too many characters all at once.
Okay.
I want them just to focus on the Titans.
These 4?
Yeah, and kind of go off of that, not bring in more characters and more.
Yeah, we are always an advocate of simplicity and a fewer number of characters because that allows why? Because it allows you to develop the characters more and the relationships. Alex, do you think this did enough to hook you?
Yeah, I definitely want to see more episodes. There's some things that I could see going wrong. I don't necessarily agree that I want to see more comedy. Like, I'm fine with them doing a darker, heavy on the violence. Let's figure out like where this thing goes, especially if they set up. I mean, we already know that there's kind of like a cult. There's like that guy, that acolyte that was trying to kill Raven. So if they grow that and that becomes like a bad guy that I like, then I like the way the story is going. I could see the effects getting in the way
of the enjoyment of the series.
Yeah, I didn't mind the Raven thing as much, but Beast Boy and everything we've seen in the trailer, and then this, if he's going to be in this series and he looks as bad as, I mean, they probably showed us the best scene of Beast Boy in this one to try to put your best face forward, and that didn't look very good.
You're right, absolutely. Beast Boy is going to be the weakest link here in terms of the CGI. Starfire, when she started using her powers and she glows orange and she's got the green eyes, I like that part, but the fact that she's got fire, I hope we eventually do see her actual powers like plasma. I'm not really sure if they're going to do the energy blast or if they've retconned her to just, oh, she's Starfire. Get it?
Flying?
I would be fine with it.
Will she maybe fly? You're fine with it. Yeah. Okay, so what would we go ahead? Let's go ahead and give this series some final verdicts, at least just off this one episode. Not the series, just episode 1, and setting up the potential of the series and, showing off the characters, factor in CGI. I also got to say, I thought the soundtrack was acceptable, but there were a few really cheesy tracks that completely distracted you, like some kind of synth piano. Not really 80s, but like cheap Casio, like little toy Casio thing that I think took away from it. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with Alex. Final verdicts. I'm
going to give it an 8. I think this is for... It's not as good as some of the Netflix ones. It's definitely better than some of the other ones. I think Daredevil did a really good job. I like so far that we didn't spend a lot of time going into, like, we need to get everyone's backstory, like all the DC movies do, where we spend so much time on where they came from. They give you enough of the character, and they're explaining it along the way like you should. So I think this is a good start. And if they can continue this momentum or build something that continue on with it, I think it's going to be a really successful series.
I'm thinking it's 7. I'm not digging the graphics. Beast Boy, I want to see more Beast Boy. Maybe not his backstory, but just something. Just something. But we'll see later on. I didn't really quite like Raven. That's
so that's going to be hard
for me.
Right.
Robin is going to be the best one right now for me.
Yeah,
so we'll see how the story pans out.
Yeah, it's very surprising, guys. I think this is the first time Alex is liking something because I'm a little bit different than these guys. I think it was a little weaker debut than what I've seen. Now, of course, in comparison to something like the first episode of Iron Fist or the overall season of Iron Fist, which, by the way, guys, is now canceled.
Yeah.
There is going to be no season 3.
Shocker.
I thought they were actually... Well, I know it's a shocker, right? But, oh, man. But they were kind of doing some interesting stuff there towards the end of season 2. I think that's why some people were a little upset because it was finding its feet. Anyway, besides the point, I was a little bit more disappointed. I, like Joe, agree that they got Raven half right. I hope her demon side can be built a little bit better. Those CGI effects are going to bother me and make me laugh every time I see it instead of sort of frighten me or heighten the tension in the scene. Not necessarily scare me, but heighten the tension. Raven or Starfire don't like the sort of change in powers, but I can accept that part. And Beast Boy, at least in this episode, and remember, we're just reviewing this particular episode, it seems like an afterthought, really bad CGI, and he looks like probably just going to be used as the jokester and the teen heartthrob, which is what he's supposed to be, minus the teen heartthrob thing. But, you know, he's kind of going to be the heart of the team, the funny guy of the team. But from what we saw here, very little, and we wanted more. But what's bringing it down for me, a little bit of the soundtrack, a little distracting. The fight scene's not very good, in my opinion. Like, when she walks through that door and she sees this little flimsy little fucking table, I was like, that thing is getting destroyed. And then she's walking. Later on, the guy flies. You know, she's fighting the guy, punches him really hard. He flies across the room. What does he do? He slams right into that little piece of shit thing. The only thing they can break in the room on their budget.
So if you compare this to the first episode of Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica, like you're comparing it to their whole series. This as an episode is better than the first episode of all of those series in terms of action.
Yeah.
By far.
In
like,
action.
not even close. Like, there was
for sure
big fight scenes in this one. So it's hard because you have to separate it. You can't say, oh, well, the action in Daredevil through the series, of course, is going to be better because they developed these things and they got better and better and better.
Yeah.
In the first episode, this is the first episode. And so I think that the fight scenes, I mean, that's why this one's an 8 for me and not something lower, because they put a lot into this first one, but they have to keep this going. They can't just do the first one real big, hope everyone pays $7.99 and forgets to cancel. Like, they have to keep going with it.
You're absolutely right, and you almost convinced me there. He really did, but I'm keeping it at 6. Why? Because I'm factoring in, remember, this is not on television. This is not on a Netflix service where you get access to Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and Luke Cage and Defenders and the service on the whole. But you want me to divorce it from that and just look.
If we're looking at it as like a series in itself, and you're not looking at how much you're paying, like if you bring in the value proposition, would I pay $7 a month for this series and just this series? Probably not. If you have access to it because you're going to watch Batman the Animated Series and Justice League and use it for the comics, and it's something that's tacked on, I think this is better than those other ones. Yes, Netflix is a way better deal financially speaking, but just on its own, this first episode is better than all of those Netflix first episodes.
Okay, so I still keeping my rating at a 6 because that's how I feel about it right now. I am incredibly encouraged. I thought it was going to be like, honestly, I thought it was going to be like a 3. That's what I saw from the trailers. But this is slightly above average from me. It is encouraging. These two gentlemen think it's even above that. It is actually pretty good with their rating. So, yeah, we call it like we see it. We were wrong on the trailer. Actually, we weren't wrong because the trailer was shit. And it did this thing a disservice. We like what we see so far. We want to see some more episodes. But the reason why I'm ending at 6 is, at least in the U.S., okay, I'll give it a 7 outside the U.S. because it's easier to get to. It's less work to get to, less money that you pay to get to. Because right now, just one simple show on this with a few comics and some movies that you've already have access to and you've already seen, it's just that value proposition is not 100% there because it is basically gated behind this. International is a little bit easier to get to, but for right now, once this series is complete at 11 episodes, if it does end up doing better than Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones in terms of watchability and whether I like it or not, yeah, you're really gonna potentially have something really awesome here and maybe make the DC Universe app worth buying. But there's other options out there, just letting you know, okay? And for you internationals, you lucky-ass mofos. All right, guys, so surprisingly good, and I guess we'll do one more of these episodes out at the end after we've seen all of the episodes. What do you guys think, or do you think we should need a mid-season episode?
We could probably do a mid-season.
Mid sounds good because this can easily just kind of fall off a cliff and get to the point where it's not watchable, and I would like to be able to warn people that it turned into garbage.
Okay. So it's sounding like this format, see, we're still figuring out the format for television, is if we're just doing limited series, 3 episodes, 1 at the beginning, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the end. But for stuff like Game of Thrones, probably the whole series, every episode.
Yeah, because the first episode, obviously they're going to bring the best, so mid-season's the best thing to do.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stick around, we will have a spoilers discussion. I know we mentioned some plot lines there. We're still trying to figure out where we should go, no spoilers or spoilers in TV series reviews. So stick around, and we can have a little bit of extended discussion, at least where we think the series is going to go and what it might do. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Okay, welcome to the spoilers discussion. This is what we do for movie reviews. We might change the name in the future for television and make little segments out of it. But I did want to talk about where we think this is going to go. I think, personally, in Season 1, they're not going to do anything too crazy. It's just basically going to be the team getting together. They're probably going to drag that out in terms of how long it takes them to function as a team. They might get together initially and then just be at each other's throats, especially with this darker, more mature tone. Just have a lot of conflict on the team. Then by the end, they are one complete unit and they're ready for the next challenge.
It's a basic formula.
They need to be. There needs to be. If there's a unifying event,
but there's no big villain, is what I'm saying. The villain here, I think, would probably be that shadowy, crappy organization that was trying to murder Raven, which, by the way, might have a point. I mean, Raven is basically the Antichrist.
Yeah, and he thought he was doing good.
Right. So that's kind of an interesting angle. But yeah, so I think that's probably going to be the main villain. That and maybe the Russians, mobsters or whatever, chasing down Starfire, and so they have to take care of both of those factions. What are you guys thinking?
I think they need to do something besides the Russians because she just blew them up in like one scene.
I think they may be done.
They need something more powerful, at least.
Do you think, guys, that they're going to do a super villain? Do you think Deathstroke is going to show up in Season 1?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if it is, they probably has to be something the first 6-7 episodes. You have to resolve, like, the cult. I mean, maybe the cult thing's just done. Like, that was the guy that died was the cult leader.
The cult thing's not done.
And
they're going to tie that hardcore into her.
Well, so as long as they resolve that in the first half of the season, and then maybe that's like the mid-season line, then you can start introducing, if you have that unifying event brings them together, then you can present them with like a bigger, badder bad guy to do something else.
I think there has been some rumors of maybe we might see a Deathstroke in the future. So if we're lucky, we might see a Deathstroke at the end of the last episode or something like that, where somebody notices that this team is coming together and they're just a bunch of kids still. So let's hire a mercenary to take them out. That would be exciting.
I'm kind of curious to see how Hawk and Dove, if they're going to be an important role, maybe just one episode.
Or do you think they're like, the revolving door like Hulk,
Yeah.
Is it going to be serialized or is it going to be an ongoing story thing?
Hey, this is still a DC thing. They could just, shoot themselves in the face like they continue to do, and they could just introduce 40 different characters and I don't care about any of them anymore. And then this just jumps off the cliff and turns into garbage. But I'm hoping they show up for a short period of time. They provide something. They go away, not forever. They can come back in other episodes, but I'm
okay with having them on the team permanently. And I haven't even seen them yet. I do think that the team needs some sort of dynamic that we've not seen before, because we've seen a lot of the stories in the cartoons of what their team dynamic is. Without Cyborg, you need another interesting angle. Now, adding another team member beyond that, now you're going to have to – I'm really questioning whether Elastigirl or whatever. I've seen some cast names. We haven't gone ahead. We weren't given most of the reviews on here are actually only based off 3 episodes. So I'm not really sure how these critics can be fair to the series and give it an entire season rating based off of 3 episodes. That seems unfair to me.
Well, here's my thing. I'm kind of nervous about this because, like, I think if you're gonna add 2 new characters right off the back from your second episode, something's got to be happening. That should be like during the mid. It's like focus on these 4 characters. And why are you going to bring
Unless
in some
something
more?
big happens towards the end where they are doing a superpower villain.
They should do like a mid. Introduce them during the mid. Let us get acquainted with these 4. Are they throwing everything?
It seems like they're blowing their load really quick.
Yeah. It's like, are these guys not good enough? Do you want to put more?
Unless they show up and like help them with something really quickly, and then get right back out, and then you recruit them at the end for the big fight.
Okay, that's what Joe's hoping for. Okay, predictions. Let's do some predictions and hold ourselves to these, kind of see who's right. Prediction, Joe, is Starfire going to fly by the end of this season?
No.
She will not.
No, she will not.
I think she'll
I
hover.
bet a drink on it.
I bet a drink. No, I was setting that up. All right, then two drinks. Okay.
All right.
I was setting that up. She's going to hover, and you think she's going to outright fly?
No, off the ground for a little bit.
Okay,
at least
I
a
was
little.
going to
bit.
make a bet with you.
Well,
you
know,
on mid, right?
well, who's going to be first, Raven or Starfire?
Who's going to be first?
To fly.
Good.
Wait,
it's going to cost some money.
Herself or like the demon thing?
The demon thing's pretty much already flown.
That doesn't count.
Flown across the room.
I don't know.
That don't count. I don't want in on that bet because Raven, I think, has already won. So Raven, in my opinion. But okay, is Dick Grayson going to kill anybody else, or was this just we need to hook people, so let's have him shoot a bunch of people, say fuck Batman, and then the rest of the series is him discovering himself, and maybe I really shouldn't be mean to bad guys. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's what I think. Once it tied in with
just
Raven,
like Arrow.
I think
you
he
remember
kills people.
Arrow killing people, and then like he don't kill people no more.
I think he kills people.
The whole way through?
Not the whole way through. I think there's going to be times in the next 10 episodes where people die at his hands.
Okay.
I don't think so, because like once Raven
So what I
was
said was he'll
introduced,
never
though.
kill anybody else. You think he will have at least some more body count before he realizes?
Yeah, it may not be as violent as that one scene where they're trying to get. I mean, I know that they're trying to butter us up with that one scene, and we're probably not going to have anything else like that big going forward. But I think he definitely punches someone to the point where they die.
Okay. What's going on with Starfire, Joe? Do you think that she is an alien, or an alien entity has taken over the body of a human female who already had a criminal empire? What do you think is happening here? Or was she an alien from the beginning and rose through the ranks?
From the get-go.
She's an alien from the get-go, rose through the ranks of this criminal underworld, and then lost her memory.
She's an alien from the get-go.
All right. And do you think? What about you?
No, I have no idea.
No idea. Okay, I'm gonna say that she's an alien from the get-go. She has to be. I mean, look at her. Well, in this universe,
I was thinking,
there are
like
superpowers.
She did her powers. If she was just using a human vessel, she would explode.
Right. We're going the possession angle, which
Yeah.
is not a thing for
It's
Starfire,
not.
but we're wondering
That's
if
why-
maybe they're doing that here because the way they've set her up. Next prediction for Alex. Do you think that we will see Starfire in her original costume in some form by the end of the season?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I mean, it's so hard to do that without being over the top and cheesy.
It is tough to do her costume. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I do think she loses the whole hooker thing
Just
at
remove
some
the
point.
jacket.
Get the fucking hooker
Just
shit off.
remove the jacket. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that purple
Me too.
dress.
Yeah, I'm okay with the purple dress too.
Yeah,
One
I'll
thing that I
let
think
it
I
pass.
failed to mention in the review that I wanted to was the visuals. I kicked it to you guys, but I need to talk a little bit more and give my opinion on that. Is that did you guys notice they were doing a lot of subliminal
Yeah.
Visual
theming.
foreshadowing.
Yes.
Visual foreshadowing,
Yeah.
subliminal theming. When Starfire's walking around, there's a lot of blues and purples. In the club, you should notice the lights are blue and purple. They could have been any lights, but it was blue and purple. When Beast Boy was around, the
a little
background, all the
jungle.
televisions are a jungle, a lot of green there. Of course, when Dick Grayson is fighting, that's where you've got the monotones. You've got the Batman Gotham kind of look at night. And then Raven has obviously a lot of blacks and a lot of, gothic makeup and stuff like that. All right. Anyway, so I just wanted to call that out. And I hope that kind of visuals improve because it made shots more interesting to look at. Now, that stuff isn't really done, at least to that degree, in the Marvel stuff. I haven't really seen it. So I appreciated the attention to detail, the little bit of foreshadowing, visual foreshadowing. And, what about acting? We didn't really cover that in the review. Did you think everybody put you
Raven.
did?
I didn't really like Raven.
Oh, Raven's acting.
Yeah.
A little over the top.
Robin
and-
was good.
Yeah.
Starfire was good. Beast Boy, can't really say much about him yet. But,
Yeah.
okay, I just wanted
That's
to
the only problem.
I wanted to throw that there. Anybody have anything else to add in terms of spoilers,
I do.
predictions?
Do you guys think Cyborg would make an appearance?
Ooh. I want to say yes, but they're saving that for like a future season if they get one. But it's going to be an older Cyborg. He's already going to be a part of the Justice League. And when he comes, he's going to have a funny joke or two with Beast.
I hope
they
so.
have to throw that. I'm already starting to get excited for what they can do for the series, man. We didn't.
It has a lot of potential. I
It
do
does
like
have some
it.
potential. Yeah.
I just worry so much about Beast Boy in the next couple episodes. If I continue to see him and it continues to look bad, it's going to be like one of those sci-fi shows where I just can't seriously watch it anymore. It's like, this is horrible. Just do something else.
Well, if Titans is this surprisingly all right, and in some opinions good, I'm really looking forward to the next 3 shows, because I think they were going to add initially 4 shows right out the gate, or at least sometime soon, for the DC Universe app. So there's our final Swamp Thing.
I
That
would
would be cool. And there was another, I think, some kind of team-up film, or maybe I don't know.
It was.
Maybe
but I forgot what it
Stargirl or
was.
something like that. Star Spangled Girl. I don't remember. But we'll look it up and leave it in the comments if you guys already know what other series they're planning and is offered on the DC Universe app. And thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know kind of what kind of segments you might want in the future. What do you think is good for television? And if you like this format for TV reviews, how many episodes do you think we need to do on a season? All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
All right, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.
Make sure you click the bell and ding our dong.
Yes, ding our dongs, please. Thank you very much. Bye, guys.